if you look at all the information we've been able to gather so far, it is a natural step forward that you would have to go to an impeachment inquiry. And just so your viewers understand what that means, that provides Congress the apex of legal power to get all the information they need.
They just continue to take orders from Donald Trump, their puppet master in chief, who has directed them to persecute and to go after Joe Biden, which may take the form of an illegitimate impeachment inquiry.
Okay. McCarthy's doing his thing as Speaker of the House. Hakeem Jeffries, very capable man. Don't discount him. He took right over for Grandma Vodka, and he'll be there for a long time. He's doing his talking points. I don't even know how I feel about all this impeachment stuff, other than I want to see it happen. Joining me now, Dr. Ron Paul, of course, former Texas Congressman, host of the Ron Paul Liberty Report. Okay, Congressman, I don't even know if I care or not about impeachment. I want him to do it, but we don't gain anything from it. He's not going to be convicted in the Senate, even if he was. We just have Kamala Harris. So I don't know that we gain anything tangible, but it's probably necessary for them to think at least we'll do it too.
You'd think we'd have somebody there smart enough to know how to use the rules where you could do the investigation without the pretense that this is a fake attempt to impeach somebody. The information is very important, and some of them feel desperate that they have to do it this way, otherwise they can't investigate. Why can't they? I think, and I don't know all the details of the rules, but it seems to me like if they were determined, they could. But maybe these difficult questions on answering, they might not be answered until the next election, and maybe there'll be more clout on one side. But I think the information is vital. I think there's a downside to impeachment. It's not that I think it would be terrible if they do it. If that's the only way to do it, that's better than avoiding getting the information. But once again, if you have the information, is it going to get out? Will the major networks or the people who want to get the news out, are they going to tell the truth? And most Americans say, no, they're not going to tell the truth, so why should we sweat it?
Yeah, and do the people actually care enough? Congressman, I try the best I can not to be a cynic. I've always loved your attitude on things, but I've been a big fan. I say a lot, especially lately, that we don't really have a politician problem. We have a people problem. These people, they turn into COVID tyrants. They all get reelected. Joe Biden, whether it was fair or not, he's president. I would say half the country, no matter what, would go out and vote for him again. We point fingers at all these scumbags in D.C. without realizing we vote for them time and time and time again. Don't we have a people problem?
Yes, we do, but you have to talk about which people. I see the world divided among people who believe in a natural law and people who are nihilists and say you can't know the truth. But I'll tell you what, I think most people believe in natural law, that you should tell the truth and there's right and wrong. But why aren't they representing our view? And it's because the other side, people like Soros and others who have a lot of money and a lot of desire to control things, they're in leadership positions, so they own all these things. So I'm delighted with what you're doing. You're trying to get the truth out. But I think the numbers, the majority of people are still decent people, but the majority of people who get their information from these individuals who have stolen the show, that's where the problem is. And that's why I always lament the fact that I said, our message is so powerful and so right and so beneficial, bringing about peace and prosperity. Why are we doing such a lousy job? And you can say, well, the people don't care. No, I think that's always going to happen. But I was delighted about some of the results on the lockdown, especially when a group of people finally had it up to their ears in it, and they would go and confront a school board. And one individual would get up and just say, hey, this is the truth. This is what we ought to do. And all of a sudden, the crowd, yeah. And then they go and fire the whole school board. So you need those people to speak out and talk because it isn't like they're totally alone. I had one example of that when I was very much alone when I said that we shouldn't be overseas killing people, and maybe we're responsible for some of the nonsense in foreign policy. And everybody came out, well, you're done. And it turned out to be the most interesting issue that ever happened to me, because more and more people said, We are on the truth. So the people are begging for the truth. They have to have the messages. That's why vehicles like yours that you get this information out is so important. And if you give up on it, then you'll say, oh, it's not worth it. I think it's worthwhile. Matter of fact, because I have a secret weapon. I sort of think you should enjoy what you're doing, meeting people who agree with you, figuring out how to do it, and knowing that life is difficult, and there's no reason why you can't enjoy the issue at the same time. I found out that people enjoyed what I was saying at the end of a speech after I scared them to death, because I say they were in bad shape, but this is what you can do. And lo and behold, I strongly believe in the remnant. I think there's always people out there preparing for the repair, but that's what these Marxists are doing. They're preparing, but they're in there and they've already gained the control, and they're in the Department of Justice and our educational system, our medical system, and they have an announcement. But people one by one, it was said once that people go mad in herds, but they only recover one at a time. Well, I'm satisfied to see one at a time. So if I had a congressman, I strongly also believe that you can't wring somebody's neck and grab and say, why are you such a jerk? Why don't you do that? No, I don't believe in that. But if you're knowledgeable, they're going to come and ask you questions. And lo and behold, I had 3 members of Congress actually asked me a serious question. I was a holy man, because they were so far removed from the understanding of liberty and what it means, and they all took the same oath of office, to obey the Constitution. At the same time, they didn't believe in any of it. And even now, what percentage of them really know and understand it? There's not too many. But they're out there, and what we have to do is present the issue to them, give them a chance, and give them a little bit of hope that it's possible. Because I don't want to, I'll never throw up my arms and say the end, because none of us know what's going to happen tomorrow, or the next day. So I think if the people get the message, and you have leaders that want to speak clearly, even now we have 1 or 2 that will speak clearly in the presidential campaign, and they're not going to agree with us who believe in liberty perfectly, but they're speaking much clearer, and you could tell at least they're telling the truth from the way they see it. So that's what we have to encourage. It's a tough fight, though. I understand that.
It is. And is it possible to get back to a constitutional society, which everybody wants, when one side, it's not that they ignore it, they just hate it. They know it's there. They know what it says. They have no use for it whatsoever. So they try to destroy it every day. How do I get back into a constitutional society when I share a home with people who have no regard for it whatsoever?
Well, you have to do what you can, and people ask me precisely after speeches, what will she do? What do you want me to do? I say, if you agree with the issues, you just have to find something to do, because everybody has talents, and some people would do one thing. Some people get foolish enough to run for Congress, and things like that. And so it has to be done, but it should be understood that doesn't mean that there's going to be a conversion of everybody at one time. So I think that the opportunity is there. As far as when are they ever going to be constitutionalists? The current Congress we have here, other than maybe the 10 or 15, aren't going to be constitutionalists. It's not a relevant idea. That's why people say, how did you stand living with those people and talking to those people? Well, I just didn't pay any attention to them, and I had low expectations. They weren't going to listen to me, so the 3 or 4 that did would. So, but somebody outside of Washington, I found out that I had a couple people listen to me, and I had a couple congressmen change their minds about this. Yes, the being alone is a tough deal, but I think that's the way it is all the time. I just don't think, matter of fact, if it was just somebody could turn the switch and everybody's turned on, but no, the average person. But you have to have a consensus by the people. The government does reflect the people, and I think that's what you see and you're frustrated with. These people are going along with it, but they aren't the people that are directing the issues. The issues have to be directed when you have a freer society. And right now, I said when I left Congress, the greatest threat to us is the violation of our First Amendment rights. Because if we have our right to speak out and reach people, which we still do, I still have my program, but you have your chance to talk. I said, it's still there, and it's up to us. I always lament the fact, how come we're not doing a better job? I mean, we have a powerful message, and it's mainly because people are overly rigid, and they do get addicted. The welfare warfare state, it's not people on food stamps and living in the streets. That's part of it, but it's those corporate organizations and the military industrial complex, the pharmaceutical companies, and all these people. And now I think that right now the conditions are really tough, but they're going to change. So I don't think the collapse is coming. And the classical or the cultural Marxists, they say that's good. It gives us a chance to build our ideal social system. And I say, good. It's about time that our freedom issues come alive once again. And there's a lot of organizations. You take the education done by the Mises Institute over the last 30, 40 years. It's fantastic. So they're out there. They're out there. We never had enough money or enough people as a Soros, but they're on the wrong side of the issue. Their system is coming apart, and ours will be sustained. Truth and proper living. It's been around a long time, but we have to become more active. And I boil it down to I believe I'm more involved in education than I am in thinking that, I could be a good politician. No, and that's why I have a homeschooling group, because I think that's competition. So, and you get people, and more people, even now people say, the homeschooling group, they're all going back to government schools now that the COVID lockdown is over. I don't think that's going to be the case. There's stories now that show that they're not happy with it, and they're looking for alternative education. And there's still enough ways to find it. As bad as the internet is, it's still, I have to rely on it. I rely on it. It gives me leads, and it's beneficial. So, I reach a few people. It's not gigantic, but a few people. So it's not purely a numbers game. It's a quality game.
Yeah. Congressman, thank you so much. Please come back soon. I appreciate you very much.
For too long, we've been led to believe that communism is a thing of the past. But the truth is, communism is alive. It's here, and it's infiltrating every aspect of American life. Introducing the Anti-Communist Manifesto by Jesse Kelly, the practical guide for patriots ready to defend our nation from its most dangerous enemy. Discover the shocking extent of communist infiltration in our education system, their alliance with American corporations, and the twisted truth behind environmentalism. This eye-opening book exposes the true face of communism and empowers you to fight back. Join the fight for freedom. Pre-order your copy of the Anti-Communist Manifesto today by going to jessekellybook.com.